Mark Zuckerberg's political group is trashing President Obama and Obamacare and promoting wildlife oil drilling. I spent a while this weekend looking into this, and there's one piece I would direct you to on businessinsider.com. FWD.us, FWD meaning forward, describes itself as a nonpartisan entity dedicated to promoting immigration reform, education reform, and the knowledge economy. So Mark Zuckerberg, the founder of Facebook, actually said in a recent Washington Post editorial, he said, what is the knowledge economy? The knowledge economy is an economy based on education and technology. And it's different than the old economy, which was based on natural resources like oil and gas. And if you look at who supports Forward US, Mark Zuckerberg, the founder of Facebook, as I mentioned, Marissa Mayer, the CEO of Yahoo, Bill Gates, we all know Bill Gates, Reid Hoffman, the founder of LinkedIn, Drew Houston, the CEO and founder of Dropbox. There's a lot more people, and you can find their pictures on the Forward US website. So, okay, that sounds pretty good. It sounds like there's some progressive individuals involved, and we're getting away from natural, oil and gas. We're getting away from that, the new economy. That's all great. So then we have to ask the question, why is it that there is a lot of money from Forward US being used to trash President Obama and actually promote big oil policies, the same policies that environmentalists who realize we have to get away from oil and gas criticize? That is exactly what is being bankrolled by Forward US. And Josh Israel and Judd Legume of Think Progress revealed that Forward US is funding specific attack ads that attack President Obama, they attack Obamacare, and they promote the Keystone XL pipeline and drilling in ANWR, the Alaska National Wildlife Refuge. Here's an example of an ad which promotes Lindsey Graham and criticizes President Obama, funded by this group, Forward US.
When Lindsey Graham's in Washington, what does he do? He stands up for South Carolina values.
Change you can believe in after this health care bill debacle has now become an empty slogan. And it's really been replaced by seedy Chicago politics when you think about it.
I'm not going to be intimidated by this president. What I am suggesting is
All right, you get the idea. So wait a second. Why is Mark Zuckerberg's organization, Forward, what's progressive about this? Now, in their defense, Forward US also funds another subsidiary which supports Democrats. It's called the Council for American Side of the Aisle. And they produced an ad celebrating Alaska Senator Mark Begich for advocating drilling in the Alaska National Wildlife Refuge, which a lot of people say we've got to leave that untouched. So what's going on here? The bottom line, and Think Progress has concluded this, a number of others have concluded this, Lewis, is that Forward US is basically trying to support immigration reform by basically funding senators on both sides of the aisle, right? So the idea is let's just fund all sorts of people, and it doesn't matter if Mark Zuckerberg or whoever else personally finds somebody like Lindsey Graham appalling. Let's fund everybody and just hope we can grease the wheels for immigration reform. And there's 2 points of view on this, right? One is to get immigration reform to happen, we need votes. We'll say whatever we need to say to get those votes. Some people would say, well, it's pragmatic, right? They know that they're going to need Republicans to get those votes on immigration reform. So what's the big deal with supporting drilling in the ANWR? Others would say, no, they're compromising their values if they even really care about their values, and they're promoting things which are directly antithetical to what most people who support actual, real immigration reform would support. Means to an end or pandering? What do you think, Lewis? What do you think of this strategy?
I can't speak to any of the other people on this list, but I would say that this does not sound like something Bill Gates would even be aware of. I think there's a chance that a lot of these people involved saw something they liked in this organization.
Or maybe it was just Mark Zuckerberg saying to Bill Gates, I'm doing this thing.
Or someone who works for them.
Yeah.
Affiliated them with it. And I think that they probably really haven't reviewed everything that this organization is doing. They might not pay attention to it at all. But, I think it's strange that Bill Gates would be involved with something like this.
Natan, do you buy that explanation? If that were the explanation, hey, you've got to grease both sides of the aisles, and this is just a means to an end. Do you think that that's okay, or is that bad?
Well, I think that in this case, the means might justify the ends if the ends involve millions of currently undocumented immigrants to become legal and then become Democrats, which will then render Lindsey Graham and people like him completely moot. So only if that is sort of a very long-term strategy over the next 10 to 15 years would this make sense. Other than that, if you're a one-issue person, like Bloomberg's kind of like a one-issue gun control guy now, where he'll support a guy even if he disagrees with him on a lot of other things if he's for gun control. It's hard to say. I mean, if Zuckerberg really only cares about immigration, I guess it makes sense for him.
Yeah. However, we don't really have evidence that that's his number one concern because he talks about, remember, the new economy, the knowledge economy, which goes away from oil and gas, which is being promoted by these ads to, I guess, to eventually get immigration reform. I don't like it.
I mean, there are tens of thousands of, or maybe hundreds of thousands of Democratic votes worth wildlife drilling in Alaska. I mean, if the result of this campaign actually ends up destroying the environment, is that worth it?
I don't believe it is because I think that there's other ways to get those votes. But in any case, what do you think about this? Is this a valid strategy, greasing both sides and going backwards on issues to go forward elsewhere?